right, you. So tell me what got you interested in sailing.
I guess boating. We started boating about 5 years ago, and we really liked it. And it was a brand new world to me. I never thought I'd be a boat owner. But so we started with a 32 Bayliner, and then moved up to a 41 Chris Craft Commander, which was a really cool boat, and I miss it a lot.
Why do you miss it? What happened?
Well, I miss it because it was
You don't have
a
it?
condo in the water, and that's kind of cool. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, which is 2 heads and 2 staterooms. Anyway, so then we decided that we were going to get a sailboat also. Well, also turned into only the sailboat. So we sold the Chris Craft to some really good friends, which I think that's awesome, and we might even go visit them tomorrow. But with a sailboat, you actually have to work at it to make it go. So yeah, sailing is just amazing. The feeling that you get out there, it's very addictive. Because once I first started, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I was really, really super scared when I went, because I said, you'll never catch me on the sailboat. Well, look at us now. So yeah, I love the feeling you get. I love having to take control of it to make it operate. And it's just, you can go anywhere, and it's amazing.
So tell me about your first sail.
My first sail was supposed to be with Roy. We went down to Sausalito, and he got a phone. We went down to Sausalito in our Bayliner. No, it was the Chris Craft. And our friend Darren that worked at Modern Sailing was going to take us out for a sail. But it turns out Roy got a phone call, and we had to go back, and we missed out on sailing that day. So I was out wine tasting with my buddy Patrick, which we would go wine tasting all the time. He was just kind of crazy like that. And after we went wine tasting, we stopped in Sausalito and went for a sail. There were about 9 of us on board, and it was the first time I've ever been on a sailboat even, and it was so much fun. It was a little scary, not gonna lie, but it was a lot of fun. So I got the bug. I needed to go back, and I went back, and it was actually the day before my accident that I went back, and I got that fear out of my way, because we're hailing over, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if this thing flips over, which way am I gonna jump? And which is a stupid thing to think, but when you're a newbie, you don't know, and it's kind of intimidating being out there and just getting tossed around and everything. So, but once I got past that fear, I was really hooked. And of course, the following day, I got in a really bad accident, and I had to put everything on hold. But once I was better, I just got right back out there and started doing it all again. My buddy Patrick and I were out wine tasting, and he had rented a really cool sports car. And, we did what we always did. And we ended up in Delgado Winery. And for whatever reason that day, usually we wouldn't leave right away, he'd let the alcohol settle, but for whatever reason that day, we ended up getting back on, I think it was Highway 128, and we flew off the road at well over 100 miles an hour, and just flew off and hit a tree. And yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it pretty much changed my entire life. It definitely changed Patrick's. He was gone. As soon as we hit, I'm sure that he didn't feel anything. But I stayed in the hospital for 3.5 weeks.
What were your injuries?
Oh God, there's way too many to mention. But the main ones were, I broke my back. I had a burst fracture on my L2. Nearly was paralyzed. Broke my arms, both my arms, my foot, my hand, lacerated liver, dissected carotid arteries, just a bunch of that stuff. So, but I just, powered on, kept going. And one of the things that kept me going was I wanted to get back on Decadence, which was the Chris crab. And I also wanted to continue where I left off on sailing. I just discovered this wonderful thing, and all of a sudden it felt like I was just being, ripped away from me. And damn, that was just brutal. So, but I was thankful to be alive. And I knew that I wasn't going to let that slow me down.
So you mentioned to me that you had some specific goals regarding sailing and stuff since your accident that really sort of changed.
Well, yeah. I want to see the world one beach at a time. So, because there's a lot of world out there. And, so many people are just, trapped in their little worlds, and they don't even know what else is out there. And I know that there's so much that I know that is out there that I don't even know about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, I just want to get out there and see everything and take advantage of everything that is out there before I go.
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to sail there.
Right on.
That's, oh God, enough with the clothes.
You're funny. So did the accident and your, really near-death experience, and did it change your outlook on life and your goals or your timeline for your goals, anything like that?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it made me realize that there's, that life can be taken from you just, like that. And so it made me want to live each day to the absolute max. Not that I didn't already do that. I already did that, but now it's like, I kind of supersized it. Now I really want to live life. I want to go do all the stuff that, I always thought was impossible. And I want to go out there and do it. And I want to be here for my kids and just, prove to the world, and mostly to myself, that I can do it.
All right, so tell me about going from power boating to sailboating. How'd you find your sailboat? Did you buy a sailboat?
Well, the plan was to get a small little sailboat, what I used to call my keychain. I was going to make it all cute and everything. And, so that was the plan. We were going to have two boats, the power boat and the sailboat. But then Roy got really interested in it. And then there went that power boating idea. It was all about sailing from there.
All right, so tell us about Sereia.
We found that boat through Captain Jack. Actually, a friend of ours found it, because I had a few people looking for boats for us, including us. We were looking all the time. And one of my friends found a really great one that was out in Long Beach. And he says, you should go and look at this. This is going to be a really cool boat for you guys. So we went down to Long Beach and we looked at it and we fell in love with it. And we didn't know a whole lot about sailboats. So I was kind of hoping wishing that we would have taken one of our friends that was knowledgeable in that department. And, but nope, we went, we powered on, we fell in love with the boat, didn't realize that there were blown out leech lines, and for whatever reason, the motor wasn't working after we bought it. So I forgot what I was saying.
So when did you know you fell in love with the sailboat that you bought?
With the actual one.
Mm-hmm.
So when we took it out, and we turned off the motors and hoisted the sails, and so I just fell in love with everything about it, and so much so that completely ignored the fact that the sails were kind of blown out and it needed work, but I didn't care. I was just like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. So yeah, I fell in love with it, and have it.
What's the name of the boat, first of
The
all?
name of the boat is Sereia, and that means mermaid in Portuguese. And I think it's the only language that is spelled and pronounced that way. There's lots of other, siren and all that stuff. I just wanted something a little bit different and a little harder to say. So, for most people anyway. And so Sereia it is. And it means mermaid. And it's just, I don't know, seems to fit the boat. It's currently called Blue Streak. It works, but Blue Streak reminds me of, like Blue Steel, Zoolander, which isn't bad, I guess. That's kind of a cool name, but, we want it to be ours, and Sereia just seemed to fit.
Why did you choose Portuguese language for the name of your boat?
Well, I was born and raised in Brazil, and I speak Portuguese, and, I don't know, just kind of wanted something different. I mean, I know if we sail the world, we'll run across a lot of Brazilians out there anyway. I hope we do. But I don't know, just wanted something different. And a mermaid in Portuguese, and it kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? To follow our adventure, go ahead and subscribe. Se inscrever.